Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now this weekend it is International Women's Day, which means it's the perfect time to talk about fictional women who shaped me, the ones who inspired me, wrecked me emotionally, and made me want to be just as fearless as they are. I've always been drawn to complex, powerful, deeply flawed female characters. I love the ones who are unapologetically ambitious, the ones who fight for what they believe in, even when it costs them everything. And now, as a parent, I find myself hoping that my own daughters grow up with these same stories, these same fierce female role models, just so they can see firsthand that being strong doesn't necessarily mean being perfect. It means being determined, resilient, and owning your own power. So today we're diving into my all-time favourite FMCs, whether that's from TV or books, the ones who left their mark on me and honestly helped shape who I am. Up first, she's a classic. It is Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. Now, she didn't ask to be a hero. She never wanted to be a hero, but she became one anyway. She's not the strongest or the smartest or the most charming person in the room, but she was really determined, and she always fought because she had to, because she felt like she had to, because she refuses to let the people she loves suffer. And what I love about Katniss is that she's not flawless or fearless. She's traumatized, she's reluctant, she constantly questions everything in herself, and yet she still outsmarts an entire oppressive government just by refusing to be controlled. Let's be honest, if I was thrown into the Hunger Games, I would last about 5 minutes, probably not even that long, before some 6'5" career took me out. But Katniss survives, and she does it on her own terms. Number 2, Leia Organa from Star Wars. Now, Leia was, in my memory, the very first woman I saw be a badass on screen, and it completely changed me. I will always be obsessed with her. When I was little, most of the princesses I saw in movies were waiting to be rescued, but Leia picked up a blaster and saved herself. She wasn't just a princess, she was a rebel, a strategist, a leader. She was smarter than everyone in the room and had no patience for incompetence, which honestly, very relatable. And as she got older, she didn't stop being powerful. She became General Organa, still leading, still fighting, still an absolute icon. If my daughters grow up to have half of Leia's confidence and resilience, I will be so proud. Number 3 is Ellen Ripley from the Alien franchises. If we're talking about women who paved the way for every action heroine ever, we definitely have to talk about Ellen Ripley. She's thrown into an absolute nightmare scenario. Obviously, she's trapped on a spaceship. Her crew are dying all around her with a terrifying, unkillable alien hunting them down. And does she panic? Yes. But does she still get it done? Absolutely. What I really loved about this series in the beginning was Ripley wasn't a superhuman. She was terrified just like any of us would be, but she still fought back. She still survived. And honestly, there's just something so powerful about it, because being strong doesn't mean not being scared. It means fighting anyway. And Ripley fought. Number 4 is Hermione Granger. Because let's be real for a second, Ron and Harry would have died in the very first book without Hermione, and they would have died in every single book without Hermione. So she is the true saviour of the Wizarding world. She is the brains, the strategy, half of the common sense of that trio, and yet she still gets overlooked. Now, people love to say, oh, Harry was the chosen one, but actually got them through every single crisis, Hermione. She is brilliant, she's resourceful and completely unafraid to stand up for what's right. She doesn't just fight with magic, she fights with knowledge, with wit, and with sheer determination. I grew up loving her because she made it cool to be the smart girl, the bookworm, the one who raised her hand first, because obviously, as you can tell, I was teacher's pet. And the fact that she still somehow doesn't get enough credit for saving the day every single time is absolutely criminal. And for all my Hermione girlies who have read Manacled, the very final line of that story just answers exactly why she's the best character in that whole world. Number 5 is Auren from the Plated Prisoner series is one of my favourite series of all time. Now, her journey through the series is one of the best character arcs I've ever read in a romantasy. She starts off trapped physically, mentally, emotionally. She's abused. She's been conditioned to believe she's safest in a cage. And watching her slowly realise her own strength, break free, and stand up for herself is so incredibly satisfying, because it's her that decides to do that in the books. It's not the male main character who comes in and sweeps her off her feet and saves her. I do love FMCs who are soft but strong, like kind but unbreakable. Now, Auren doesn't start off as a warrior, but she does become one, and not with weapons, but with her own resilience, and that's true power. Next up is Jude Duarte from The Cruel Prince. Now, Jude is an absolute menace, and I love her for it. She's a mortal girl who's been dragged into a world of deadly, beautiful fae, and instead of trying to fit in, she schemes her way to the top. She's ruthless, she's cunning, she plays the long game better than anyone. Now, I will always love a morally grey FMC, and Jude delivers. She wants power, she's willing to fight for it, she's not afraid to get her hands dirty, and that makes her one of the most compelling characters in YA fantasy that I've ever read. Just to add my most recent one, it is Althea from the Legends of Thesmar series. Now, Althea is the definition of determined. She fights against expectations, fate, literally everything stands in her way. She doesn't just accept what she's given, she pushes back. What I love about her is that she's not just strong physically. She definitely doesn't start off that way, but she's strong in her convictions. She's the kind of character who won't stop even when the odds are absolutely impossible. And honestly, that is my favourite kind of FMC. I've just binge read the whole series, and she is one of my favourite FMCs of all time. So yeah, those are some of my top FMCs of all time. There are obviously a lot more because I've read a lot of books, but stories do matter. The characters we grow up with, the ones we connect us, they do shape us. Now, when I think about the kind of characters I love, the fearless, relentless, powerful women, I realise that that's what I want for my daughters too. I want them to grow up knowing they can be strong, ambitious, completely unstoppable. That being kind doesn't mean being weak, and that they don't have to fit in anyone's expectations except their own. And if the next generation of girls grows up looking at characters like Jude, Leia, and Auren thinking, yeah, I want to be like that, then they're on the right track. Now, I could talk about powerful female leads all day, but these are a lot of the ones that shaped me. So, who are your favourite FMCs? Drop them in the comments. And if you love talking about fantasy books, strong heroines, and general writing chaos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Happy International Women's Day, everyone!